Isamu Noguchi, at Gemini G.E.L., 1982 through 1983. It was in 1981 that Isamu Noguchi began the design and construction of the Isamu Noguchi Garden Museum in Long Island City, New York. In creating the museum, one of the artist's concerns was the ability for the museum to generate revenue, and he saw one source of revenue to come from the sale of reproductions. At that point, the only works that lent themselves to reproduction were his Akari light sculptures. It was also in the period 1980 to 1983 that Noguchi was spending most of his time in Southern California, working on two large commissioned garden projects, California Scenario in Costa Mesa, California, and Noguchi Plaza to the Issei in Los Angeles. His work drew the attention of Stanley Grinstein of Gemini G.E.L., and Grinstein suggested that he, the artist, created limited edition sculptures at the Gemini studio. The artist immediately recognized the opportunity to create something not only new, but also something that would provide another income stream for the museum. The Gemini editions were made with the collaboration of Peter Carlson of Peter Carlson Enterprises. Carlson's firm, today located in San Fernando, California, assists sculptors with the fabrication of their ideas. In the spring of 1982, Carlson received from Noguchi the first crate of quarter-inch foam core patterns, from which he began to assemble maquettes of the sculptures. Noguchi arrived in August, and within a few months, a set of 26 prototypes had been fabricated. There were several steps in the creation of each sculpture. Full-size paper patterns were made from the maquettes, and the patterns were used to flame-cut steel plates, 1/8 and 1/4 inch A36 steel. The plate surfaces were strengthened through a process called shot peening, and the edges were beveled with a grinder. The parts were welded together, the weld beads were removed by hand grinding, and the finished work was hot-dipped galvanized. Noguchi called the Gemini edition sculptures short poems pertaining to California where I was born. He remarked that he saw the opportunity to return to exploration of two-dimensional work, something that he had abandoned in 1928. The designs were based on freehand drawings that mimic landscape shapes, cactus, rocks, clouds, mountain. The galvanizing process, the steel work is dipped in boiling zinc, creates a new surface that is random to each piece. Noguchi noted that in this way nature intrudes upon the appearance of the work. Poet, essayist, and playwright Michael McClure wrote about the sculptures in his 1982 essay. Noguchi notes, for the Gemini catalog, the surface resembled those of rocks in a stream. Each skin, epidermis, outer layer is unique in pattern and texture. Noguchi is a fountain, pouring forth sculptures. These pieces are his physical thoughts. They're waves, ripples, spray, bubbles, splashing from the flow of work. Referring to the creative process, Noguchi said, "Adversity is necessary. Here the harshness of the metal is the adversity that the artist must overcome in his creation." Noguchi takes the inorganic stone or metal and creates new life forms that allude to forms in nature. McClure noted that the textures, patterns, trees, cacti, grasses, silhouettes on the walls, and reflections on glass that are found in California Scenario are reminiscent of the Gemini sculptures.